13 flights. I'll be jumping.
Beautiful day today at Saratoga Park. We're ready for our 6-furlong single-turn 2-year-old.
Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning as we are live from Saratoga. Once again, we were here yesterday with kind of a shakeout, and we have returned for another pre-Saratoga at Belmont shakeout day, and we'll do a little recap of some stakes action from yesterday and more on this morning's show. But news from the backstretch today, Mike Welch tweeted out nice work this morning from journalism. Tim Welch had a picture. Umberto Rispoli was in from the West Coast for the work. So you would think things are looking pretty good for journalism to be in the Belmont. I would think we would hear today, tomorrow, obviously at the latest. But we're all hoping for the rematch because I think that will certainly make for a big Saturday and a big Belmont Stakes, sovereignty versus journalism. So again, the report this morning, nice work out by journalism with Umberto Rispoli in from the West Coast to be on board. Let me hit you with some of the promos that are coming up because today is the opening day for entries to the Belmont Syndicate. There will be a Belmont Syndicate, $750 put on a pick 5 on Belmont Stakes Day. You can get your shot being in the syndicate if you put in an entry form. CapitalOTB.com. Click on the promotions link. Look for the syndicate graphic. There'll be an entry form there. It'll probably be another hour or so. Well, a couple hours. About noontime. It'll probably go live today, something like that. But you'll have another, couple of days to sign up. So again, if you'd like to join the syndicate, you get in for $25. 20 people are in. That's 500. OTB puts in 250, and then everybody gets to put their picks in. A consensus pick 5 ticket is put together. So for the $25, you get in on a nice whale-sized pick 5 ticket. Belmont Stakes Day. Belmont Stakes Syndicate opens today at CapitalOTB.com. Let me hit you with what's coming up also rest of the week, obviously, at OTB. I'll hit on some events otherwise a little bit later on. But obviously the week begins on Wednesday. Come on down to the Racebook, your local branch, or check us out here on OTB TV. It's going to be a New York bread day on Wednesday to kick things off. But things start on Wednesday here, racing-wise at Saratoga. There will be a bounty bet that will return on Friday. It will obviously focus right up here, Belmont at Saratoga. So keep that in mind for later in the week with the Belmont at Saratoga bounty bet on Friday. Belmont Stakes Day, as I mentioned, we'll have the syndicate will be part of the deal. Down at the Clubhouse Racebook, there'll be a player's bankroll. That's always fun. The team gets selected, and each member of the team gets a race, and then the winnings are split up amongst the team at the end of the day. So that'll come up on Saturday, Belmont Stakes Day at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. And also we'll have the King of the Hill contest down at the Racebook as well coming up. So there you have it, the week ahead here at Capital OTB. All right, I have notes all over my page here, so we'll get to all of them eventually. So long as my fingers are still moving, because it's a little chilly up here this morning. I will admit, I did see about the middle of the week. I checked the weather. Middle of the week, it looked like high 80s, 90 perhaps, which we'll take given what we've had the last couple of days. At least today isn't raining. When we did the show yesterday, it was coming down pretty good. But today, a little bit overcast. And as I say, it is a little nippy out here this morning. But there was some activity. Just saw the Jim Bond horses go by. They wrapped up their training, obviously. It looks a little quiet out there now. You get to about 10 o'clock and things clear up. I will say, since we've been here, I haven't seen any activity behind us yet over the last couple of days on Clare Court. That will certainly happen, and probably happened a little bit earlier, I would think. But as I say, I haven't seen anything out there yet. That's one of the nice things about being here. We fire up in the morning, and boom, we have horses working out right behind us. I have to appreciate that. All right, again, there was some nice stakes action yesterday from various venues, highlighted by Churchill Downs. It was Stephen Foster Preview Day, and there were 6 stakes there, and I thought we'd take a look at those. Those will play into Churchill in about a month, Stephen Foster Day, but there were also some horses that I'm sure we will see right up here at Saratoga when we get towards the traditional meet. So we'll kick things off and just kind of go in chronological order, as there was a little surprise in the Aristides. Skelly was the 93-cent to $1 favorite, coming off a couple of big stakes wins down at Oaklawn, coming off a big stakes win and an optional claimer allowance win just before that, but both with triple-digit buyers. So deservedly the short-priced favorite there. But Skelly winds up last after blasting out in a 20-plus opening fraction. Skelly retreats to the back of the pack and runs 6th of 6. It's number 2 Durante under Jose Ortiz for trainer David Jacobson, getting it done at 33-1. There was a lot of consternation out on social media of how did you have this horse? But Durante was coming in off a couple of third-place finishes. One was behind Skelly in that Oaklawn stake, and here he is getting it done. David Jacobson gave a lot of credit to Jose Ortiz, who kind of blasted out with Skelly early. But again, that 20-plus early fraction, Jose Ortiz backed off a little bit and then came again late. So at post-race comments, David Jacobson gave kind of a thumbs up to the ride from Jose Ortiz. World record ran 2nd. Relatively lightly raced runner for Rudy Brissett, who had 4 wins and 8 starts coming in. So again, he continues to go very well. And Giant Mischief ran 3rd in there. And as I say, Skelly, a little bit disappointing for Steve Asmussen, last in the field as a short-priced favorite with a little upset, kind of kicking it off in the Aristides at Churchill. Moving on to the Audubon, that one was run on the turf for 3-year-olds. That subdivision I like quite a bit, and this was also my dark horse play of the day. Tomasello, coming in with a couple of wins from Marquesi, was trying Stakes Company for the first time in career start number 7. I thought the horse was going to be a little bit interesting, and was at 7-1. Top of the stretch, number 1 Tomasello is right there under Jose Ortiz. And I thought we were in a great position. World Beater, who I had right underneath the 6 source for Riley Mott, eventually kind of pushes on by at a very generous 6-1 there. King of Asia, or King of Ashes, excuse me. Print's a little small there. King of Ashes winds up just catching Tomasello for 2nd. Or I should say, Tomasello kind of fades out of 2nd. But as I say, at the top of the stretch, I thought our dark horse play was in a good spot. And well, I mean, it was the stakes debut, but it was a nice performance for World Beater, who was also making a stakes debut, stepping out of maiden company, again, for Riley Mott. And again, it was one of those where sometimes they take a few starts to kind of figure it out. They break the maiden, and then they can string a couple together. That was the case yesterday for World Beater. It was only, again, the 6th career start for that one, stakes debut after the maiden breaker. So he might be a nice little 3-year-old turfer to keep our eyes on going forward. You know, possibly up here at Saratoga and something like the Hall of Fame maybe. But again, I thought it was a nice performance from all three of those. King of Ashes, also lightly raced for Brendan Walsh. This one had tried Stakes Company, though. It tried the Battaglia, but on the synthetic over at Turfway back in February. Followed that up running second at Keeneland in an allowance event. And again, being lightly raced just seems to maybe be kind of figuring it out at this point, and also ran well. So top two certainly stood out there. Chart margin was a neck. And Tomasello, as I say, I thought ran well. I may be biased. Again, I had him as the dark. Oh, there's some more Jim Bond horses. So there's still a little activity going on. But again, that was the Audubon for the 3-year-olds on the turf. As I say, that subdivision I like quite a bit. And the winner comes out being one maybe worth watching going for both of the first two, actually. The Shawnee, the 8th race yesterday at Churchill. This one was for the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 8.5 furlongs. I was kind of shocked. I had it 7, 3, 1, and 6. Comes out 3-7. And the 3, Royal Spa, 13-1. Now 10-1 on the morning line, but as I say, I had that one right underneath coming out of a stakes win at Laurel, and maybe people were kind of discounting the horse came out of a couple of Laurel stakes. 2 back tried the Barbara Fritchie, ran second, and then won the Heavenly Cause last time. But Flavien Prat on board, coming out of a couple of wins, I had that horse right there. Again, I had the Exacta flip-flop, and the Exacta for a couple of bucks, you got $100 here. Again, my top pick, Jin was the number 7. You can see second there, chart margin just over a length. Third was Alpine Princess. But Royal Spa, Rudy Brissett, kind of picked his spots and made a couple of good moves over, going over to Laurel. Second in the Fritchie, and then wins a $100,000 stakes race. And then down to Churchill for a grade 3 victory at, again, just a price that was, I thought, a little bit generous under Flavien Prat. Jose Ortiz was on Jin for Brendan Walsh. And there are a couple in the filly and mare division that will be interesting watching going forward. Who's Your Filly was in there. I mentioned this one when I handicapped yesterday. Just kind of a funny career for her. Wound up last as the third choice at 3-1. The favorite in there was Where's My Ring, the number 1 horse who ran as the 2-1 favorite, a disappointing 6th in there, but it was a nice win for Royal Spa. Again, Rudy Brissett runner. He has runners up here. Well, whether we will see this one up here, I don't know, because it seems like he is kind of picking his spots, but off a grade 3 win, I would not be shocked to see Royal Spa up here at Saratoga in the filly and mare stakes division. Also, the Arlington, again, they're back on the turf for the Arlington. These were 4-year-olds and up, traveling 8.5 furlongs. I had Mercanti down in the second spot, Brilliant Birdie on top. And again, I flip-flopped as far as the exact. Nice stretch duel, though. Mercanti, the number 8, gets it by a chart margin of a neck at 3-1 as the 9-5 favorite. Brilliant Birdie, the number 9 horse in here, runs second. And again, my top 2 flip-flopped. You got a $23 and change Exacta, which I thought was okay. They were the horses that were the first choice and the third choice. Second choice, Call Protection, unfortunately broke down, and I believe I read was euthanized. So unfortunate event there on the backstretch. But a couple of logicals get it done coming down the stretch with Mercanti. A horse that's had a nice career, certainly, for lesser-known connections. But this was the 5th win in 13 career starts. Pretty good numbers, as well over $500,000, probably with yesterday. Got to be approaching $750,000. Brilliant Birdie, a horse that I've liked for throughout the career, really. And that one came in with 6 wins in 9 starts. So now 6 for 10, but with a couple of seconds as well for Cherie DeVoe. I would think Brilliant Birdie will definitely see up here being a Cherie DeVoe runner. And I'm just looking to see. Now, we didn't see her last year, although she bounced around and did very well, obviously, with the 6 wins in 9 starts. But it wouldn't shock me if we saw that one up here. As I say, there are also a series of races coming up on Stephen Foster Day down there. So a number of these runners may elect there, although that does not discount Saratoga at all. That Stephen Foster Day later this month, I believe. And so, you still have plenty of Saratoga left, and we shall see if we will get this next winter up at Saratoga, although I'm sure the Stephen Foster is in the mix for Mystic Dan. The blame yesterday for the older division going on 9 furlongs, and Mystic Dan coming off of a kind of a redemption performance down at Oaklawn after having a series of really 3 duds, going back to last year's Belmont Stakes, and then kind of laid off, came back in the Malibu, also tossed in kind of a clunker, and then the Pegasus Invitational, another clunker. But last time out, Derby Day down at Oaklawn, a close-up second to Saudi Crown. So that had Mystic Dan in good form. I didn't know what to do with that one. I had Hall of Fame on top, and at the top of the stretch, I thought I was in pretty good shape with number 6 Hall of Fame for Asmussen and Jose Ortiz. But Mystic Dan gets back to the track where he scored the Derby and runs a similar race, riding the rail under Brian Hernandez. Chart margins over a length, over Antiquarian, who's another nice runner. That one for Centennial Farms and Todd Pletcher will run second. And Post Time runs third as the favorite. I was a little surprised Post Time was the 2-1 favorite in here. You can see a nice late run from Antiquarian to just steal second from Post Time, and Hall of Fame, who at the top of the stretch, I thought my pick was in a good spot, faded a little bit. Most Wanted, when I handicapped this race yesterday, talked a little bit about it on the show. I said Most Wanted, there was a chance the horse would scratch, and it shows up today in an allowance event worth $148,000. And I said, if Most Wanted does come out, I'd probably pull Mystic Dan in, but I did not use Mystic Dan. But there was a lot of notes on social media. Over the last few years, the Derby winners have gone on to have unspectacular post-Derby careers. And so Mystic Dan hopefully turned that around, but certainly turned it around in that winds up with a graded stakes win after having won the Derby, which is more than most of those recent winners have done. So it'd be interesting to see where Mystic Dan goes. The Foster, given his appreciation for Churchill Downs, the Foster seems likely. And then after that, will we see the horse up at Saratoga? That will be intriguing. Certainly a Kenny McPeak horse. It would not be a shock to see Mystic Dan locally up here. And again, after that performance yesterday and the nice performance too back in the Oaklawn race, we'll look forward to the possibility of seeing him up here. But I would think, sets him up nicely, obviously, for the Stephen Foster. Churchill's 11th was the wrap-up to the stakes action down at Churchill yesterday. Again, a really nice card with very nice stakes. And I moved up into the winner after the scratch. Lush Lips, who I think a number of people liked as I went out and read social media. That one wound up to be a vet scratch. But Fion was the horse I had right underneath for Brad Cox. That horse was my move-up top pick. So scratched into the winner at a generous $10 and change. Fion is the number 8 horse here. Totally justified. Number 6 runs second. And number 2 here for a good time runs third. So the winner here, we're looking at a horse that came in with 5 career starts, 3 wins, a second, and a third. And again, a nice late kick here to push on by to get the win by half a length. So interesting. And again, this is for the 3-year-old fillies on the turf. We looked a little bit earlier at the race for the 3-year-old males. So I would think, being a Brad Cox trainee, we might see this one right up here at Saratoga a little bit later on. But it was certainly a nice performance to continue what so far has been a nice career. The horses underneath I didn't use. Totally Justified and Here for a Good Time. Totally Justified. They both took action. One was 4-1 and one was 5-1 as the third and the fourth choice. Classic Q was the 3-2 favorite, and that one disappointed a little bit, running seventh in the field of 9. I had that one right underneath. But as I say, the two that ran second and third, I didn't use. Betting Public had them in the mix, however, but it scratched into the winner. So a little redemption as far as that went. Florent Giroux on board for, again, Brad Cox in the regret. All right, that takes you through the Churchill Stakes. There were some nice stakes, other portions of the country as well, but we'll take a break before we come back and do a little review of some of that other stakes action and more coming up on this edition of Racing Across America. Stay tuned.
There's no better time to think DePaula and buy DePaula. Just visit, call, or click. Get no worry pricing and 000 savings on every new Chevy car, truck, and SUV. Delivering value since 1980. DePaulaChevrolet.com.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
There's no better time to think DePaula and buy DePaula. Just visit, call, or click. Get no worry pricing and 000 savings on every new Chevy car, truck, and SUV. Delivering value since 1980. DePaulaChevrolet.com.
Welcome back. As noted, there were some interesting stakes around the country. I say interesting because we'll start out with a couple of small stakes yesterday at Gulfstream that just may, have provided some horses worth watching going forward. There were a couple of $75,000 stakes. Things get a little more interesting. We'll take a look at the stake out at Santa Anita, and they had some nice stakes up at Woodbine as well. But again, we'll kick off with a couple of minor stakes at Gulfstream, because, as I say, I think, might play into going forward. The Game Face was the 6th race yesterday at Gulfstream. These are 3-year-old fillies going 6.5. And the winner was Love You Morgan. And as I say, may play into watching the, late spring and early summer going forward, because this one's a Safi Joseph trainee, and it was only the 3rd career start. Stakes debut, obviously. The debut back in February, ran 5th, and then won the 2nd start of the career when stretched to 1 mile and a 16th. Cuts back to the 6.5 yesterday, and it is number 6, Love You Morgan, at 10-1, getting it done. So again, this is one probably worth watching going forward, being lately raced. Andrea finishes 2nd. Win and You're In runs 3rd in there as the favorite, but at $22, the Safi Joseph runner gets it done under Edgar Zayas. And as I say, being lightly raced, being a Safi horse, may be interesting to watch as we move forward. A nice little 3-year-old sprinting filly, but did break the maiden going 2 turns. So we'll see. I mean, Safi has horses up here in the summer. We'll see where she goes. I would think this is the kind where they may pick their spots a little bit and just be interesting to watch. So again, Love You Morgan gets it done in the Game Face. And then in the powder break, these were fillies and mares going 1 mile on the turf, and it'll be number 4, Let's Go Coco, getting it done. That was one I did not have in my mix. I like Starship Agenda under Lionel Reyes, and that's the number 5 horse, and runs okay in here. You can see sitting 2nd and winds up running third at 7-1. Trifecta of 7-1 shots getting it done here. Number 4, Let's Go Coco. Number 1, Dancing and Dixie, and Starship Agenda, all at 7-1. As I say, I like Starship Agenda, and I will reiterate, Lionel Reyes, going back to the winter down at Gulfstream, he was pulling in some nice prices on the turf, and got a good effort from this one. I mean, the chart margin, he ran third, but the chart margin first and second half, second to third and next. So right there at 7-1. But the winner again was Let's Go Coco. That's, as I say, 7-1. The trio of 7-1 shots for 50 cents. You got almost $350 in the triple there. But again, you're looking at a 4-year-old filly on the turf who already had a pretty good career. But yesterday it was 8 wins and 22 starts so far for that one, coming over from a decent little winter season at Tampa. This is one I think Florida-based and probably sticks. Last summer stuck around at Gulfstream. A stakes winner now. Maybe they ship around, take their spots, but it was Let's Go Coco in the powder break. Again, a couple of minor stakes at Gulfstream, but a couple of decent little performances. Speaking of a performance, the Triple Bend out at Santa Anita. We'll take a look at that because here's the horse that will clearly play into the summer and the fall. It's a Bob Baffert trainee, Nisos, who started the career so impressively, having won the first 3 starts of the career, the Maiden Breaker, the Bob Hope, and the Bob Lewis. First couple of starts in the career were 2023 as a 2-year-old, then the Bob Lewis in February of last year as a 3-year-old, and then laid off. Only had the 3 starts, triple-digit buyer win in the Bob Lewis, and then laid off from that Bob Lewis in February of last year until May of this year. Ran in the Churchill Downs, a grade 1 on Derby weekend, and wound up a just missed second as the favorite to Mindframe. Bob Baffert, after yesterday's race, said, we were thinking about the Met Mile, but it was kind of that's interesting. It has had the look of a tough race. Now the field is kind of shrinking for the Met Mile. We'll have to see how that shakes out. But regardless, Bob Baffert said, I'll take my shot in the grade 3 and let's, get them going there. And then we can point for bigger things down the road. And so the Triple Bend yesterday, a scratch reduced field. There was a field of 5 entered. Vlahos wound up scratching. So it was a field of 4. And Nisos went off as the 1-5 favorite under Juan Hernandez. Bob Baffert trained Nisos, the number 2 horse here. Wins it very easily. The chart margin over 5 lengths. And again, should have this horse set up nicely to go forward. 4 wins, 3 stakes wins in 5 career starts, and then the close-up second last time to Mindframe. He's another of those now 3-year-olds from last season that moves forward to be a player in the older division as a 4-year-old this year. But again, it was probably a good move. Let's see who does wind up in the Met Mile. But you get a confidence builder, you go back to your home base. And so Bob Baffert, as they say, probably made the right move there with Niso. So we'll see what they choose next going forward with that one. I pulled up all the stakes from Woodbine. The first of the stakes was scheduled as the first race on the card. You can kind of read the tea leaves when you see that before you even see the field. It was only a field of 4. And I'm imagining, it was a field of 4 because Patches O'Houlihan was in there at last year's Horse of the Year up in Canada for Robert Tiller. He's always fun when we go up. We've interviewed him a few times. He's always makes for a good interview. But Patches O'Houlihan, who won when we were up there last year, which race would that have been? Would have been the Vigil. With Sophia Vivas on board. Got a chance to interview her for the first time. That was fun too. All of that said, short field, Patches O'Houlihan in. Patches O'Houlihan comes up with a little temperature. He's out. So unfortunately, scratched down to a field of 3. But we'll take a look here. The big favorite at 1-2 was Simcoe. The 3 horse winds up second in the field of 3. Wacky things can happen. As it turned out, Old Chestnut took him all the way around the 1 horse in here, who went off as the longest price on the board at 7-2 in the 3-horse field. But again, funny things can happen in short fields, and it is Old Chestnut taking him all the way around for the score in, again, the scratch-reduced Cartier, kicking a grade 3 event, kicking off the stakes action yesterday at Woodbine. But it was a nice stakes day up at Woodbine, and the other stakes races were a little more interesting. Speaking of interesting, the Royal North grade 3 event, 6.5 furlongs on the turf, and the winner here, number 7, Ms. Tart. And what makes Ms. Tart interesting? $143 and change win mutual. 70-1 shot gets it done here as the ranked outsider on the board. But how about this? Running second, number 5, Ready to Jam. Running third, Ticker Tape Home under Patrick Husbands. So it's 71 over 12-1 over 39-1. The 20-cent, the 20-cent superfecta, yet an 8-1 run for 20-cent superfecta pays $7,400. The 20-cent superfecta, the 20-cent trifecta was $850. Again, $140 winner on top. It was one of those when you looked at the price. I didn't handicap Woodbine yesterday, so I'm not trying to red board or anything. There were others in there who, I will admit, looked far more logical. Your favorite, unsurprisingly, was Earhart, Josie Carroll trainee, coming out of a stakes win back in the early portion of May to be 3 for 4 overall, 5th career start. But at 4-5, Earhart runs last in there yesterday. But again, this is the kind that Ms. Tart you look at, and then you look up at the board and you see 70-1, and you maybe go to the window and just put $5 on just for the heck of it, because this is a Kevin Rice trainee, been working on the synthetic down at Presque Isle, which is his base, but had run down at Gulfstream on the synthetic this winter for Kevin Rice and had a win in an optional claimer in early March, a win in an optional claimer in early April, and then in early May, popped up to Woodbine to run third behind the aforementioned Earhart. So it's one that, again, that the morning line was 12-1. The odds of 70-1 were just a little askew. And again, I'm not trying to red board here, because I'm sure if I handicapped there, Earhart kind of jumped out off the last one, and I probably would have been with the betting public there. Our friends at West Point had Gal in a rush under trainer Miguel Clement, who's starting to have his name in the entries, again, with the sad news of his father passing. But Gal in a rush wound up 4th at 8-1. That was illogical as well. So there were horses that on paper were more logical. But again, it's just one of those that if you're sitting kind of handicapping during the day and you've kind of made your decisions, but you're looking at the race and, wow, that seems a little generous. You could have certainly tossed a couple of bucks on just to cover your bases and maybe have a little fun if something like that happened. And yesterday it did happen, with Miss Tart getting it done for Kevin Rice. Again, $143 in the Royal North. Also on the card yesterday at Woodbine was the Eclipse. This is for the older horses, going 1 mile and a 16th. And it will be the number 5 Classic Motown, getting it done for Marty Drexler, one of the Marty Drexler stable that was down at Gulfstream this winter. Came out of a close-up, a near-miss, half-length 4th last time as the favorite down at Gulfstream, but returns up to Woodbine and gets it done at 9-1. Web Slinger for Mark Cassie. Nice little run for Mark Cassie. The 7 gets a nice late run to be second, gets smoking. Another Mark Cassie runner runs third in there, the 3, and they both took a little action. Get smoking, no surprise, was the 5-2 favorite, but again, runs third. Classic Mo getting it done again at $20 and change. Web Slinger was a decent, just under 6-1. So you got an exacta there of $110 for a couple of logical players. And then if you had the other Cassie running third, your 20-cent try, just under $50. So there was some value to be had there. In the Eclipse, and wound up stakes action up at Woodbine with the Bell Mahone Grade 3 event for 4-year-olds and up, fillies and mares, going 8.5 furlongs. And in here, it was number 2, Caitlin Her Great, and number 7 for Flying Second, number 6 Ready for Cheryl third. But Caitlin Her Great, you may remember last year, won the King's Plate. Philly winning the King's Plate. Subsequently went in the QE2 at Keeneland. It was Elliott. I think Elliott Walden from Windstar. Windstar owns Caitlin Her Greatness. And after the King's Plate, we had Elliott here on set and said the QE2 might be in the offing. She winds up third in there and then back up to Woodbine to complete the season, disappointing fourth as the favorite in the Maple Leaf. But in the seasonal debut, kicking off things as a 4-year-old, she gets it done yesterday. Rafael Hernandez on board for Kevin Attard. Caitlin Her Greatness seems to have I didn't see numbers. I went out before I went on the air and looked to see if there were buyers out there for some of these stakes races. I haven't seen numbers, but she seems to maybe be improved as a 4-year-old. That was a nice little comeback effort for her. So we'll watch Caitlin Her Greatness and see what may be in the offing for her going forward. But as I say, that was a nice little performance yesterday in the Bell Mahone on the return for Caitlin Her Greatness, Windstar and Company. All right. We will take another break. As I say, have a little more as far as news and notes. We'll give you a little update on the events that are going to be coming up this week here in Saratoga to maybe keep your eye on the racing side and beyond. And we'll also take a little visit down the street, downtown. Our Dark Horse Play of the Day sponsors, I visited both of their shops, so we'll take a little look at that as well. All of that when Racing Across America continues. So again, stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at capitalotb.com or capitalotbbet.com and claim your free money.
Welcome back. We'll kick things off here in this segment with our Dark Horse Play of the Day for today, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga, both in downtown. We'll take a look. As I say, I had a visit down there a couple of weeks ago, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. But we'll start out with the Dark Horse Play of the Day, which last week we were knocked it out of the park. The holiday week, going from Wednesday to Monday, 6 days, had 4 winners on top, including Memorial Day, the $19 Todd Pletcher winner. So it was a big week last week, and then we kicked back off on Thursday. So we've had 3 Dark Horse plays so far. Not quite as good. I will say on Thursday we missed by that much. That was frustrating. Thursday's Dark Horse second, but just missed. And then Friday we took a swing with a horse that had tossed in a real clunker in the debut, but was getting some changes and certainly a class move. It was the Safi Joseph runner, and I thought, may turn things around, but kind of repeated the poor effort of the debut. So Friday was a little bit of a dud. And then yesterday, as we looked at earlier, Tomasello in the stake at Churchill, okay, third at 7-1, got $6 and change for the show price, so there was something there, but we'll see if we can turn it around. And I kind of like today's. Went to the feature at Churchill, the Mint Julep. We're looking at fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th on the grass. I have a 10, 11, 3, and 8, and I'll make the 10 my Dark Horse Play of the Day. And I'll start out by saying I'm a little bit iffy on the post position going a mile and a 16th on the turf. But it is Irod Ortiz, so I would expect a decent run. This is a Safi Joseph runner that hasn't been seen since November, but it's the kind that I talk about often. You know, lightly raced 2-year-olds, even lightly raced 3-year-olds, if they show some promise and then get a break like this, sometimes they come back improved. And I'm going to hope that's the case for No Mo Candy, the number 10 horse. The career so far has been a series of improving buyers, 3 wins and a second. Second was in debut, so then ripped off a 3-race win streak that included the Grade 3 Pebbles at Aqueduct in the last start of the season with a solid 92 buyer. So if this is one of those that does come back from the break and shows an improved effort, I think is very interesting and could be very tough in here at a decent price. We're looking at 5-1 on the morning line. We'll have to overcome the outside post position. So we'll see how that all works out. But our Dark Horse Play of the Day for Sunday, May 1st or June 1st. I got to get used to saying June now as we are kicking off the summer months, as it were. But our Dark Horse Play for June 1st, 9th race at Churchill Downs, horse number 10, No Mo Candy. All right, and speaking of the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga, as I say, appreciate their sponsorship of the Dark Horse Play today during the Triple Crown season. They'll be back also for traditional Saratoga as they have been over the past couple of years. But we appreciate their sponsorship. And I went down and did put together a little piece on both of them, about a minute and a half on both of them. But we'll start out at Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway. I always say, great place to go and just kind of browse around. You will enjoy it. But we talked with Mary Ann Barker and, again, had a little visit and show some of the wares down at Impressions of Saratoga. So that is up next.
Well, we like to call ourselves the Everything Saratoga store. So we have gifts, jewelry, stuff for kids, stuff for adults, garments, souvenirs, nice artwork, bronzes from Ireland, racing bronzes. So we really run the gamut. We try to be a full service souvenir store, but on a nice level. We have everything from little $1.99 pens to, $200 and $300 pieces of art. So we try to cover all bases and for year round, so people can find something to take home to capture their memory of Saratoga. We are open extended hours in the summertime. Generally off season, we're 10 to 6 during the week and then till 8 or 9 on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. In racing season, we extend that. So we're a minimum of 9, and on the weekends, sometimes 10s, 11s. If there are people out, we're out. We also open earlier. So we generally have the door open by 9. That's our set time, but we're here earlier. So we oftentimes end up opening at 8:30. So anywhere between 8:30 and 9.
People can find you online, right?
Absolutely. Yep. ImpressionsSaratoga.com 24/7. We don't have everything on the website, of course, because the store is just too jam-packed and lots of one-of-a-kind pieces. But you can find a lot of our basic items on there. And if you don't see what you're looking for, send us a note. Give us a call. We take pictures and have lots of stuff, we can send over to you to look at.
I've known Marianne and Dave Barker for years now, and great job, Impressions of Saratoga, Marianne and Maddie Zanetti, the proprietors of Impressions and Dark Horse. And again, if you're downtown, as you heard Marianne say, summertime they have extended hours, and if you're downtown for the concert on Wednesday night, maybe swing by. But otherwise, plenty of opportunity if you're up here at the track or whatever, go downtown for dinner. Definitely stop by Impressions. And then right down the street, 445 Broadway, other side of the street, but a block or so away, is Dark Horse Mercantile. And we talked with Maddie Zanetti about the Dark Horse Mercantile. And again, got some shots in there of their various wares. And Maddie also updated us. Their mascot is Upset the Mini Horse. And who doesn't love mascot, the mini horse, who shows up at some events? But Maddie gave us a little update on what his schedule might be over the summer as well. So up next, let's take a look. Dark Horse Mercantile.
Yes, so the Dark Horse is all about overcoming the odds and celebrating the long shot, even if you're not the favorite in the race, never giving up. So over there, we've got garments, gifts, memorabilia, home decor. We've got some really cool new products in that have to do with different cocktails, whether you want to do a mocktail or a cocktail. Those are pretty fun. And then we're bringing in a whole new line of T-shirts and sweatshirts that all have a vintage racing feel to them that we're really excited about bringing in as well. Well, in the summer, we are open every single day, starting at 9 in the morning and going till at least 8 or 9 at night. So we'll be there every day for everyone to stop in before and after the track.
Yeah, you have your mascot for both Impressions and Dark Horse. Talk a little bit about when people can find Upset.
Yes, so Upset will be downtown at least once a week in the summer. He's got a very busy schedule, so you can find it on social media. We also will have it posted on our website, but he'll be out at least once a week strolling around and at some different events at the Race Museum, the Children's Museum, and a few other programs that are happening throughout the summer.
Again, highly recommended you stop by Impressions of Saratoga and the Dark Horse Mercantile, both on Broadway in downtown Saratoga. And again, thanks to them for their sponsorship of the Dark Horse Play of the Day, of which we have 6 left now. So we'll see what we can do over the next 6 days. The Triple Crown season, Dark Horse, will end a week from today, the day after the Belmont Stakes. So as I say, we have 6 more swings at it. All right, I said I would update you on some of the things that are coming up here over the next few days as we get into Belmont Stakes Week and whatnot. We talked about it yesterday a little bit on the show. Do want to remind you, Embrace the Belmont, a nice event, Universal Preservation Hall, Washington Avenue, block off Broadway in downtown Saratoga. I'll be on the panel along with Matt DeSantis and Sarah El Badwi. We'll handicap the Belmont and have plenty of great discussion about the racing action coming up. Donna Brothers will be the MC, and it all benefits Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. And you can go to their website to find more information as far as tickets and whatnot. It's thsaratoga.org, or you just type in Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga into Google. But they have the event information on their website and ticket information as well. That's Tuesday. Kicks off at 5:30. Again, Universal Preservation Hall right in downtown Saratoga. Wednesday, we kick off the racing action, and it is New York Breds. New York Bred Day. Last year, that was on Sunday, the day after the Belmont. This year, they added a day. Wednesday was not a racing day last year. This year it is. Going to focus on the New York Breds. And I've said it a number of times over the past few days. It's always fun because the New York Bred program has produced a lot of nice runners over the past few years. But you get to these New York State Bred Stakes days, and you see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of rivalries, and it's fun. So New York Bred Day on Wednesday. But I bring it up also because there'll be a hat giveaway based on the New York Breds. I love New York Bred baseball cap will be a giveaway on Wednesday. First 10,000 paid admissions, you can wind up with a baseball cap on Wednesday. So keep that in mind. Then after the races on Wednesday, Belmont on Broadway, another concert in downtown Saratoga following last year's inaugural edition. Last year it featured Blues Traveler. This year, as you can see, it's Gin Blossoms. Going to kick off at 7 o'clock. So you can come have a day at the races and then go downtown for the concert. Last year it was a lot of fun. I was down with thousands of my fellow concert goers last year for Blues Traveler as they put the stage right in the middle of Broadway down by the city center. And for 2 blocks, it's literally wall-to-wall people. But it was a lot of fun. Looking at the weather last night, looked like the weather's going to be very nice. So, again, Wednesday night, you can kick things off or wind up a kickoff day, as I say, they at the track and then go over to the concert right in downtown Broadway, kicking off at 7 o'clock with, again, the Gin Blossoms. Some other events that are coming up, Revel at the Races Party, Sports Illustrated, Revel at the Races Party. That will be coming up on Thursday at the Night Owl, which I believe is the old Metro down on Maple Avenue. I must say, back in my day, I was a regular at the Metro. This is years ago, obviously. I don't think I've been in this latest incarnation, but I believe that's the spot, the Night Owl. And so, again, there'll be a Sports Illustrated party. It's described the Ultimate Belmont Stakes pre-party. Sports Illustrated's Revel at the Races makes Belmont Stakes debut, promising a night of music, celebration, and star power. So you can explore more about that. There's also Thursday, the Belmont Gala at the Canfield Casino. Friday, there's going to be a Belmont Ball at the Fasig-Tipton Pavilion. And Belmont Stakes Day, I will also note, if you happen to be one of the folks who likes to get super dressed up for a big day at the races, I don't know if I'm in that category, but if you happen to be, you're wearing the hat, as I was going to say, as on the female side, but I don't know, folks. There are some guys with some nice chapeaus as well. But if you're dressed up, man or woman, there's going to be a Belmont Stakes fashion contest with some prizes available. Belmont Stakes Day between 1 and 3. So again, if you're all dialed up, as it were, on Belmont Stakes Day, check out the contest. Maybe you can win a little extra something on Belmont Stakes Day right up here at Saratoga. And once again, do want to alert you to what's coming up here at Capital OTB. Again, now we're about an hour or so away. I would say about noontime. Entries will open on the website for the Belmont Syndicate. Go to capitalotb.com, click on the promotions link, look for the graphic there, and click on that, and the entry form will be there. Again, probably go live in about an hour or so for the Belmont Stakes Syndicate. If that sounds like something you're interested in, sign up. Coming up this Friday, the return of the Bounty Bet, and obviously we will focus on the late pick 5 right here at Saratoga. So keep that in mind this coming Friday. Saturday, Players Bankroll down at the Clubhouse Racebook. Put your name in the hat if you're selected. Players Bankrolls are a lot of fun. Typical bankroll, I'm downplaying, but the Players Bankroll, if you're selected for the team, you get some money, and each player gets a race, and you get to take your shot. And then winnings are split up at the end of the day. Also on Saturday, Clubhouse Racebook, King of the Hill contest returns. So that's all Saturday. Belmont Stakes Day, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. All right, another horse van pulling in. So horses showing up for the weekend and beyond, I would assume, at this point, as it's been fun the last couple of days, kind of doing the shakeouts up here live from our Clare Court set. Thanks to all the guys who came up earlier this week, set up all the equipment. Dino and Anthony have been here live in our trailer the past couple of days, Dan down in Albany. So again, thanks to the crew for getting us up and running here at Saratoga over the last couple of days, couple of shakeout days. Seems to have gone well over the past couple of days, and we'll kick it off live coming up on Wednesday. Don't forget, throughout the Belmont Stakes Week, we will be at our regular schedule, 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Racing Across America. Although Belmont Saturday with an early post time, things may be a little bit earlier on Saturday, but otherwise 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Racing Across America, and we'll kick it off on Wednesday. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking for a little warmer weather, though, because, again, it is a little bit nippy out here today. Sun's been kind of popping in and out, but as I say, when I looked at the weather last night, it looks like middle of the week, it is going to warm up significantly. So it should be a lot of fun. We kick it off on Wednesday here on TV. If you can come up to the track, do it. I think it's going to be a great week, a fun week. I think the Belmont Stakes is shaping up nicely. Again, fingers crossed the journalism goes, but seems like all reports, again, this morning, Mike Welch said, looked really good out on the track with Umberto Rispoli in from California for the workout ride. So the showdown is potentially shaping up, and I think that'll make for a big Belmont and a big Saturday. But otherwise, we'll wrap it up for this Sunday. And as I say, we'll be back on Wednesday to kick things off officially. Belmont at Saratoga Week, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Racing Across America. See you then.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.